Hello, happy Sunday, happy beautiful Sunday morning. It is so good to see each and every one of you. It is so good to be here with you as we celebrate the magnificence and significance of God in, through, and as you. Let us begin, as we always do, with prayer. And this morning, our prayer champion, Vanessa, will lead us in prayer.
Good morning, Celebration Spiritual Center. Let's get settled in with a collective breath. Breathing in. And out. And one more time. Inhaling peace. And exhaling into the present. I am knowing here and now, the one mind, power, and presence that is all life and living, all time and space, all movement and meaning. I recognize God, source, divine spark, heavenly spirit everywhere. I can touch it, taste it, feel it as I sit here now. I recognize it as the everything moving and expressing in, through, and as me, one and the same with my Creator, indivisible from this wholeness, divinity, harmony, prosperity, wisdom, and joy that is this divine beingness. And in this knowing of a life that is everything, a life that is mine, a life that is only ever affirming of its creation, I release the fear, doubt, and worry from my beliefs and expectations. I decline the thoughts that would have me suspicious and separate me from the blessing of what God is constantly offering and providing. I have every reason to believe that I am safe, seen, secure, and supported in all that I live. From here, I am open, clear, focused, and ready for the blessing of the day. From here, I am expecting the good of this Celebration Spiritual Center service to provide, as it always does, a loving and a lighting experience, a message that touches me exactly where I need it to, an insight that clears the way for expanded wisdom, healing, inspiration, and action, and tools that support me in keeping my plane afloat, gliding in ease and purpose with the jet stream of life. I am here now. All is well. Everything that is moving, shifting, evolving is doing so for my greatest good. This I release to the only one who can do anything about it, to the love that is unconditional, to the law that is precise, to the day that will show me. Knowing as it is true and operating for me, it is true and operating for all those coming to mind and heart now. Thank you, Mother, Father, God, for yet another happy Sunday that we get to join in spiritual praise and practice. For this Celebration Spiritual Center community that is vibrant, authentic, prosperous, and affirming. For this service that has a little bit of everything and an endless love. We move forward eager, receptive, and grateful. And amen, ashe, and so it is.
Yes, yes, for the service that has a little bit of everything. I love it. Amen, ashe, and so it is. Well, hello again and good morning. It is so good to be with you. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be in the world or whatever time you're catching this broadcast and this stream. It is so very good to see you here online. It is so very good to be here with you. It is so very good to gather together in consciousness, aligned to the truth of the goodness of who and whose we are, aligned to the truth that we are enough, that we are prosperous, that we are worthy, perfect, whole, and complete beings, that God is operating in, through, and as us. So we're just happy to have you here. We're happy to be here with you all. And we know that some of you may be here for the very first time. And so we want to take this moment to say hello to you especially, and to invite you to join our mailing list. We would love to stay in touch with you. It's the easiest way to know what's going on at CSC. You see the information here on your screen. Just text the word welcome to 347-472-1078. Just the word welcome, no additional signatures, emojis, or messages, and you'll receive an automated reply with a link. Click that link. It takes you to a web page where you enter your information. Once you've entered your information and submitted it, you will receive another text message saying you're all set. So if you don't see that message, that means something might not have gone correctly, and so you can try to resubmit that information. But once we have that and you've received the all set message, then you'll be on our mailing list. You'll get all the information of things that are going on. We're going to get into announcements in a second, and you'll see that there's some things that you probably want in your inbox and some information that rather than trying to write it down or rewind the stream at some point, you can have it in your inbox. So with that said, I think this is a good time to get into the announcements, share a few things, talk about a few things, and then we can get into the meditation and the music and the message.
The 3 M's, meditation, music, and message.
As we always say, each and every week, we encourage you to invite a friend, a family member, anyone, to join us for the live stream. We're streaming every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on YouTube and here on Facebook. You can also share the videos because they, of course, are available on Facebook. The recordings are always available. They're available on YouTube. We create playlists on YouTube. So as we're doing a series, as we just completed the 7 habits of prosperous people, you can just send that whole playlist, that whole series over. And of course, it's beneficial to each and every one of us as we want to come back to a lesson or come back to a series. I always recommend sharing the YouTube links for that reason. But invite someone to come hang out with us and know about this good thing that we have going on here in Brooklyn. We are a church that believes in prayer. We are a church that's founded on prayer. Actually, this information you see on your screen, this phone number was established to establish the vibration of prayer of CSC before we opened our doors. And so each and every Wednesday morning, we have what we call the Momentum Prayer Call. It's Wednesday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's a wonderful way to continue the momentum that you've begun today on Sunday. It's a way to tap back in, maybe if Monday and Tuesday didn't go as you expected, but you want to keep your plane in the air, yes, then Wednesday is a wonderful time. You call in, connect in. We share a reading, normally from the Daily Word that day. It may be from another source. And then either PY, myself, or one of the prayer champions lead us in prayer. It doesn't take long, but it's incredibly effective, right? It's one of those beautiful things. It's sort of like brushing your teeth, right? You don't have to brush your teeth for an hour to avoid cavities. So it is the same way with prayer. Tap in, connect in, align, and then go out and live your day.
Absolutely.
So yes. So you see the information here on your screen, the phone number, the access code. We also record the prayers each week. So the playback number is here. You can call in anytime, 24/7. Just dial the playback number, enter your access code, and wait. The most recent prayer will play.
As I like to say, you get your espresso shot that first thing in the morning on Wednesday, or any morning, any time that you need to be reminded of the truth.
Yes, absolutely. Now, we know that you may have a prayer request, and so if you do, you can send that via email to prayerchampions@celebrationsc.org. That email is received and by each and every one of us, PY, myself, and all of our prayer champions. We hold the high watch, and we are holding each and every one of you in the highest and best light possible, right? We only see good for you. That's sort of our daily way of being. However, we recognize that there may be something going on, a challenge in your life, something a friend or a family member is experiencing, and so we want to hold you in a specific light, and we can't know that unless you share it with us. So we're happy to receive your prayer requests. We're also happy to receive, you can send to the same email, when your prayer is answered, when the problem has been resolved. By all means, please let us know that. It is a wonderful thing to hear and to know. It's hoodie season. And today here in Brooklyn, it is a nice, crisp fall morning. The temperatures changed. We kind of had summer for a couple days, but it's all good. It's hoodie season, and we've actually launched a new I Am series. I am enough, I am worthy, I am prosperous. They are only available in hoodies and long sleeve tees. So please go to our shop, celebrationsc.org/shop. And from today through the 19th, shipping will be free. I just ordered my hoodie yesterday. I should have waited so I could get free shipping. But I was just excited about getting my I Am Prosperous hoodie that I wasn't thinking about free shipping. So please, get that. I saw in the comments last week, some people were saying these are great gift ideas. Absolutely is. Each design comes in different colors. So you see here, I Am Prosperous in white. There's also I Am Prosperous in black. So, and then you can get that on different colors to kind of check your vibe. You can customize them as well in different ways. So we look forward to you enjoying your new CSC gear. And of course, all of our other designs and shirts are also available in hoodies and sweatshirts. Yes. The Jumpstart, it starts this week, this Thursday, the first session. What is the Jumpstart? The 2022 Jumpstart is an opportunity for you to begin to plant the seeds for your vision, for your goal, for what you want to be, do, or have in 2022. I'm going to be talking a little bit more about the why, like why now. I'm going to be talking a little bit about that in today's sermon. But what I do for myself every year, starting in October, I grab this book and I take myself through it. I've been doing this for about 10 years now. And what this supports me in doing is preparing my mind to then plant the seeds and for the things that I want to be, do, or have. I usually already have some kind of idea about different things, but it also then helps me to clear out all of those thought patterns and subconscious beliefs that I just wasn't even aware of. But if you're just living, right, you're going to pick up some of these patterns. You're going to be influenced by some of these patterns. It helps me to uproot those things so that I can hear the voice of love within me that's showing me and guiding me and directing me in what I can be, do, or have. So what we're going to be doing, each session is 4 weeks. We're going to be deep diving into this text while also using the life visioning process to catch the vision of what God is seeking to be and do through us in this upcoming year. And I will support you in getting very, very clear. For those of you who have taken this journey with me before, normally we do a 12-week session. Right, and we take a deep dive. But what I found is that most people never actually finish this book, right? This is the first 4 weeks of the 12 weeks, and a lot of people never actually complete it. So what I'm doing is synthesizing it to 4 weeks so that we can focus on this, because this is one of the most critical, I think the most critical portion of what we do. If I was stranded on an island, this is one of the books that I would want to have with me. So again, we start on Thursday, the first session. Registration for the first session will close on Wednesday night at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As it stands right now, we do need to meet a certain threshold in terms of the number of people that are registered, and we haven't met that yet. So for those that are registered, if we don't meet that number, I will not be able to hold this first session, and so we'll move you to the second session if that works for your schedule. But I believe that we'll have more than enough people for this first session. So if you were on the fence or you were waiting, please make sure you register, because the class could close due to low registration. To register, you see it here on your screen. Just go to celebrationsc.org/register. Click the link. You'll see the logo for your 2022 Jumpstart. And the cost is $197. It's going to be powerful. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be beneficial. And again, I think some of what we'll talk about in today's sermon will reinforce the whys and the why nows. So I look forward to sharing with you all in one of these 2 sessions, and we'll keep talking about, the second session will be available, so we'll be talking about that a little bit over the next few weeks. It's the third Sunday.
Yes.
Today is October 17th, which means it's God Talk Sunday. What is God Talk Sunday? It's an opportunity to ask questions. We thought it was just obvious and necessary, right? Although many spiritual communities and churches, etc., do not allow questions, we know that that's the only way you can really apply these teachings. It's the only way you can really learn these teachings. And we know that many people that come to New Thought and New Thought teachings are in a process of unlearning. And one of the reasons that we are here on the planet and pastors at this time in life is to support folks in crossing that bridge from traditional Christianity to progressive spirituality, practical spirituality, or what we call the gospel of well-being, right? And so, we took years and years of making that journey of unlearning. It doesn't have to take all that time for you all, because that's why we're here. So one of the things that the God Talk does is creates an open, honest forum to be able to ask those questions, and so we can support you in guiding you into the answers. Additionally, for those who you may be seasoned in the principles, you may have grown up in a metaphysical church or New Thought church, but you still have questions, right? Things are still showing up. The mirror of life is showing you something, and you're like, well, I don't believe this thing about myself, but I'm having this experience, right? And so we get to counsel and support you in applying the principles and seeing things in a new way, because this is an unending journey.
One of the things I love about this image is the innocence. Oftentimes when we've been in New Thought for a while, or as adults, we think we have to know it all, and we don't bring our curiosity or our compassion to our experiences in life. And so it's a great opportunity to come together on a Sunday, spend time with those who love you, those who think as you do, and be supported in getting answers.
Yes.
You got questions. Spirit brings answers.
Absolutely, always. And so For those of you who would like to join, this happens via Zoom as we are virtual. Normally it only happens in person. This is not recorded. It is private. And so in order to connect with us in Zoom and be at the God Talk today at 1, you have to have the link and password, which is sent via email. So as I shared earlier with our first-time guests, this is why you want to be on our mailing list so that you can get that. And for those of you who join our mailing list today, you will receive an email with the link and password so that you can join today. But we look forward to being there with you. The questions are always awesome. What comes forward and what's revealed is always just so beneficial and so healing for everyone involved. That includes us, right? For everyone involved. All right. Well, with that, it is time for the meditation.
Yes, meditation, the meditation experience. As I like to say, you can have all of this knowledge, but until you have felt it viscerally for yourself, understood your connection from that place, it is just information. We want to do more than have stuff to regurgitate. We want to live these teachings. We want to know for ourselves that this God is alive and well within us. On Monday, we celebrated Indigenous Peoples Day, and I love the idea of remembering how they knew what they knew, how they walked the earth, and how they still walk the earth, knowing their connection to the divine, knowing that it flows through everything, every leaf on the trees, the way the wind blows, the way the sun rises and sets. God is here and all is well. And as they honor their connection, we honor our connection today. This month we've been talking all about the affirmative thought. I am one with the force, and the force is one with me. Me, right where I am in my experience. Not if I become better, will the force be one with me. Right where I am, God is. Right where I am, unconditional love is. Right where I am, the power is. This force, this source. So let's practice that today. Let's experience that today in a new way. As we sit in our homes, as we listen, let's go ahead and look around the room and notice that you are safe. Seated upright in a chair, on your sofa, on your bed. Allow your shoulders to relax over your hips, not leaning too far forward in anticipation or leaning too far back in fear, doubt, and worry. Seated right in the center of your power. Relax the palms down onto the top of the thighs and allow the shoulder blades to just relax. And now, let's close our eyes and take this journey inward so that we can experience the truth of our being. As the eyes close, we feel a sense of relaxation just from that subtle movement, and we signal our body it's time to let go of the doubt, the worry, the fear, the future, and the past. And with our eyes closed, we just notice the breath. Just as I said, the wind blowing through the leaves, the breath is moving as a symbol within us. Whether it appears to be deep or shallow, let's just notice and honor this force moving within us. Last round to notice and be in gratitude. And now let's take conscious control of the breath together, bringing our awareness and sending the breath into the low belly. We will inhale for a count of 4. Together now. Inhale. Hold it there. Count of 4. And open the mouth, relax the jaw, and sigh it out. Again, into the low belly. Inhale as the low belly expands. Count of 4. Hold it there. And sigh it out. Let's expand the path of that breath in through the low belly, now up through the rib cage. Slight elevation, expansion of the front and the sides and the back of the body. Hold it there. And without collapsing, sigh it out. Again, same path, new experience, inhaling in and up, allowing the breath to go into those places that feel closed or blocked, allowing the force to be there as well. Hold it there. And sigh it out. In through the low belly, up through the rib cage, and connecting to and through the heart chakra, center of the chest. Hold it there. And again, opening and sighing it out. Again, in and all the way up to and through the heart, that chakra which is the altar of unconditional love and healing. Hold it there. Now open the mouth and sigh it out. Beautiful. Let's practice this full elongated breath that signals our body, our nervous system, that we are relaxing. In and all the way up through the heart. Nice slow count. Hold it there. This time, close the lips and exhale through the nose. And this will be our form of breath work and breathing in and out through the nose. Let's practice with a few rounds, knowing that this force is here and we are one with it. Each round taking us deeper into this knowing. Each round reminding us of our connection. And each round giving us an opportunity to release what no longer serves. Beautiful. Now let's send this breath and energy into our feet. Maybe you wiggle the toes, maybe you raise the heels. Exhale, release, relax the feet. Energy gathered underneath the feet the souls, that which touches the earth and walks the earth. Let us allow the energy to flow up through the soles, across the ankles. Relax the ankles. Unobstructed, the energy is allowed to flow across the shins and the calves. Relax the shins and the calves. Energy flows across the knees. We bend and become more flexible in our experience. We allow the Spirit to guide, the Force to guide. Relax the knees. Energy flows across the thighs, the hamstrings, and the glutes. And we signal our body through the breath and relaxation. It's okay to let go. Relax the thighs, the hamstrings, and the glutes. That energy, that force gathered in our hip sockets. Relax the hips. Relax into your joy. Relax into your knowing. As the energy gathered at the base of the spine, that Kundalini begins to rise. We give it permission with each breath. Inhaling, exhaling, making room as the energy rises. Inhale, exhale as the energy rises. In and up. Exhale, making room. As the force of life is never hindered, never blocked. As this force is here as us and with us now. Allow it to make its way up, 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 and out the crown of our heads. And in our mind's eye, we connect ourselves to one another. Knowing that this energy has been assembled and is powerful. We give it permission to flow back down through the crown, past our third eye, activating and opening. Opening and healing our throat as we speak this truth. Across our shoulders and down our arms. Unobstructed, it flows out our fingertips. And at this point, you may turn the palms up to receive more. More knowing, more connection, more of this force. Or turn them down to ground. Either way, scan your body one last time. Sending love and breath anywhere that it feels tight or blocked. And as we prepare for our silence, know that you are one with the force and the force is one with you. I will monitor the time. But if your mind wanders, it's okay. Bring it back to this truth. I am one with the force, and the force is one with me now. With our eyes still closed, we notice how easily the breath is moving. With our eyes still closed, we remember that this breath is the same energy that animates everything. With our eyes still closed, we remember that this power, this infinite intelligence is our mind now. With this kind of connection, there is nothing to fear. Let us begin our gentle return, leaving behind what no longer serves and allowing this truth to animate every cell. Noticing that we are more alive now than ever before, that the past is gone and we are connected to this force now. Let's begin to wake the body nice and easy. Maybe wiggling the fingers and the toes. Maybe inhaling, elongating the breath. And releasing. Maybe rubbing the thighs or placing our hands, if the palms were turned up, turn them back down. Tops of the thighs. Making contact there. Plant the palms and inhale. Raising the shoulders up by the ears. Exhaling as we release the shoulders back and down. Inhale again, in and up. Exhaling as the shoulders release nice and easy back and down. Last time, inhale. Shoulders up, back and down. Bring palms together at heart center. Bow the chin towards the fingertips. Flutter the eyes open, taking in a point in front of you or on the floor in front of you. Nice, gentle gaze, dristi, as we say. Nice, soft gaze, no strain on the eyes, allowing them to naturally focus. Inhale. Raise the chin, raise the gaze. It remains nice and soft. Exhale. Namaste.
Thank you, PY.
You're welcome.
Beautiful, beautiful. So we are going to hear from Soul 21, and then we will get into the sermon for today. So open your hearts and minds. Allow this good music to fill your soul, and then we'll be ready to talk about a few things. All right? I'll see you on the other side.
And so when you hear the words of this song, sweet spirit, take over this place, we're not talking about this room or this church. We're talking about the place that we are. Yes. As we are the temple of the living God. We are the activity and activation of God. It is living in, through, and as us. And we want this sweet spirit, this good spirit, this loving spirit, this holy spirit, this mighty spirit to take over this place. Because when we allow love to take over our lives, miracles happen. When we allow love to take over our lives, prosperity happens. When we allow love to take over our lives, the good that we've been seeking, it happens. Take over this place, sweet spirit. Sweet spirit, take over this place. Take over Soul 21, sing.
Sweet spirit.
Sweet spirit.
Sweet spirit.
Take over this place.
Take over this place.
Take over this place.
Take over this
place.
Sweet spirit.
Sweet spirit.
Sweet spirit.
Take over this place.
Take over this place.
Take over this place.
Take over this
Oh,
place.
sweet spirit.
Sweet spirit.
Sweet, sweet.
Sweet spirit.
Take over.
Take over this place.
Take over this place.
Take over this place.
Sweet spirit.
Sweet spirit.
Sweet spirit.
Sweet spirit.
Take over this place.
Take over this place.
Take over this place. Loving.
Take over this
Oh, loving spirit.
Loving spirit.
Loving spirit.
Loving spirit.
Take over this place.
Take over this place.
Take over this place.
Take over this
Loving spirit.
loving spirit.
Oh, loving.
Loving spirit.
Take over this place.
Take over this place.
Take over this place.
Take over this
Oh, mighty, mighty spirit.
mighty spirit.
Mighty spirit.
Mighty spirit.
about when you have a taste for something sweet? See, when you have the taste for something sweet, you know it's going to put a smile on your face. You know things are going to feel real good. That's going to bring you a level of joy. And that's what we're saying. When we're inviting the sweetness of life to come in and take over our lives, we're asking for our life to be good like candy. We're asking for our life to be good like grandmama's sweet potato pie. We're asking for life to be sweet. We're asking for our life to be good. Take over this place. Woo. Take over my thoughts that are unloving, my thoughts that are fearful, my thoughts that are unforgiving. Take over my thoughts, my thoughts of unworthiness. Take over this place. Take over my mind. Take over my mind. Take over my mind. Sweet, sweet spirit.
Take over this place.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Take over this place.
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 Over this place.
Take over this place. Take over this place.
So it is. So it is.
Take on over.
Ah, yes, yes. Take over this place. Ooh, that is such a powerful affirmation. That is such a powerful prayer, a powerful song. Thank you, Soul 21. That vibration feels good. I was over here bouncing and and talking back to the screen. Well, good morning again and happy Sunday. It is so very good to be here with each and every one of you. And I'm excited to share a little bit with you. You know, I was reflecting this week after the sermon series that we just completed. You know, we really took a journey. And honestly, I think we could use the rest of this month to kind of just rest and really allow ourselves to really just take it all in, right? And maybe reflect back and go back to our notes and maybe rewatch a sermon to really begin to practice and live the 7 habits. But of course, at CSC, we are living forward, we are moving forward, and so there's always more, right? There's always a new teaching, there's always another series, and so for the remainder of this month, we have this Sunday and 2 more Sundays, I'm going to just kind of do a mini series. You know, we're not going to start another 9-week series, but I do think that this series will be something that will be beneficial and help you to see things in a different way. I also know that one of the reasons we teach in series and teach different series, some of the underlying themes are always the same. We're talking about one law and the way that it works, but you hear it differently based on the series or the text that we happen to be using. And so I want to share with you a reading, something from a well-known, very famous book, a very famous author. I want to share this with you, and then we're going to use this as our stepping off point for the next few Sundays. I learned this, at least, by my experiment, that if one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams and endeavors to live the life which he has imagined, he will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. He will put some things behind, will pass an invisible boundary. New, universal, and more liberal laws will begin to establish themselves around and within him, or the old laws will be expanded and interpreted in his favor in a more liberal sense, and he will live with the license of a higher order of beings. In proportion as he simplifies his life, the laws of the universe will appear less complex, and solitude will not be solitude, nor poverty, poverty, nor weakness, weakness. If you have built castles in the air, your work need not be lost. That is where they should be. Now, put the foundations under them. And so as I share this reading, I'm sure that it's very familiar to many of you, and definitely the first 2 to 3 sentences are very familiar. One, you've heard me quote it many times because it's a passage that's near and dear to my heart, and it's full of so much insight, but also it's something that has become a part of popular culture, right? Now, this passage is from the book Walden, written by Henry David Thoreau. Many of you, like me, had to read and study this book in high school. I first encountered these words as a young man, a young teenager. I learned this, at least by my experiment, that if one advances confidently in the direction of their dreams and endeavors to live the life which they have imagined, she or he, they will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. Now, this beautiful passage has been reduced to a phrase that you can find on mugs and magnets and t-shirts. You could do a Google search right now. You can also find them in card stores and gift shops all around the world, probably, definitely all around the U.S. But it's become one of those problematic edits that happens with pop culture. And this is actually a beautiful representation to understand what happens with so many texts, right? Whether it's something that's relatively newer, like something that was written in 1854, or the way that we see scriptures and passages from the Hebrew Bible, the First Testament scripture, Second Testament scripture, the way we see passages from the Bhagavad Gita misconstrued or redacted in order to sell something. And so if you have never heard or read this particular passage in its entirety, you've definitely seen those affirmations or memes or magnets and t-shirts that say, go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life you imagined. And I hope you can see where the problem already is with that. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life you imagined is not what Thoreau wrote in Walden, and it's not what he was saying, because there's a key word. It says, if one advances in the direction of their dreams and endeavors to live the life that they've imagined, they will meet with a success unexpected in common hours, right? So there's the first thing. It wasn't this great climb every mountain moment. That's what I always think about when I read, go confidently in the direction of your dreams and live the life you imagine. This is not the climb every mountain moment of The Sound of Music. That's not what Thoreau was saying, right? He was sharing an insight about how these metaphysical principles work, and he was saying that I've learned this because I've experimented with it. If one advances confidently and endeavors, right? And so there's the if has been taken out, right? Advances has been taken out. Endeavors, right? So it wasn't a statement. Live the life that you imagine. If you endeavor to live the life that you have imagined, and then it says what will happen if you do that. You will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. Now, this passage from Walden contains within it the elixir of life. It contains a formula for how to live and create and demonstrate the principles that we teach and talk about here at CSC each and every Sunday and in our classes. And so we're going to use the remainder of this month to examine and understand the wisdom of this passage and the secret formula it contains. Now, again, you've heard me reference this before. I reference it many times because the teaching of it is so powerful. I did a webinar some years ago, I think it was like in 2018, where I shared some of this, but we're gonna dig deeper because I hope you may have heard something different. The last sentence in this passage, in proportion as one simplifies their life, the laws of the universe will appear less complex, and solitude will not be solitude, nor poverty, poverty, nor weakness, weakness. If you have built castles in the air, your work need not be lost. That is where they should be. Now put the foundations under them. You may not have heard that one before, right? That's not something that's usually included when people talk about this passage, but it finishes the thought. And so I'm really looking forward to breaking that down and talking about how we can apply that. So again, we're going to use the remainder of this month to examine and understand the wisdom of this passage and the secret formula it contains, right? I call this formula the confidence formula or the confidence principle. And the confidence principle starts with choice. And so what we're going to look at today are the 3 phases of choice that are present in what Thoreau is sharing with us. And so phase 1 is clear, phase 2 is listen, and phase 3 is advance. Right? And so clear, I'm using that as the verb clear, like a clearing out. We're going to talk about listen, of course, is a verb, right? And advance is, of course, a verb. So these are the phases of choice. Now, October is the month that I begin to prepare for my new year. I talked about that a bit in the announcements today, and I've talked about it in a few of the announcements over the past few Sundays. On October 1st, I begin my 30-day mental diet reading. Right? One of the things is it works really well because they're 30 days in October, right? So I'm dedicating this month, the 10th month of every year, to my mental diet practice and preparing myself. Now, there are some very specific reasons why I begin this in October. Now, there's a practical reason, and it's starting early, right? You've heard me say, don't wait until New Year's Eve to start writing down your goals and writing down your vision, or even creating your vision board for the new year, right? Don't wait, right? That's actually a violation of law, right? In the same way that if a farmer wants to have a certain amount of crops, I'm just making this up, but say a farmer wants to have a certain amount of crops in January, the farmer cannot just start tilling the soil, preparing the soil, and planting the seeds in December. We all know that. Like, that just doesn't make any sense. We would think that person was silly. Right? Well, in consciousness, because there's a correspondence to how this thing works, in consciousness, we have to think the same way. And so as we're preparing for our new year, or endeavoring to prepare for our new year, we want to actually begin early. So practically, this is why I start in October. Now, we start early, but not too early. Right? I wouldn't start in July. I wouldn't start in May. Oh, Pastor Greg said start early, so I'm starting in May. No, you gotta live the year, right? You gotta gather some information, but it is important to start early, right? We don't wait until December. We don't wait till New Year's Eve, right? We don't do that, right? We don't wait till even some people, start on January 1st and use that day to kind of, plan out their year. We don't do that. Now, the other piece of this is the reason why I begin in October is because what the 30-day mental diet does is support me in this first phase of choice, which is clearing. Because what I recognize is that throughout the year, having lived the year and being exposed to many things, I need to refocus. I need to clear out my mind, I need to reset, and I need to prepare my mind for new demonstrations. So the first part of this, just as a farmer has to do, right? You may have that farmer or gardener, right? You may have grown wonderful things in that garden in the previous season. Cool. But before you can start the planting for the new season, you have to prepare the ground. You have to prepare the soil. You have to get rid of dead leaves and maybe pick some weeds. And you might have to fertilize, right? You might have to rotate the soil. There might be, if you have large acres of land, right? You can't continue to plant on the same land over and over and over and over again, right? So that correspondence is important as we're thinking about our own consciousness and our own minds. So there's the practical aspect, right? That you got to start early, but there's also the need to clear out. Before you can even begin to plan, before you can even really say, this is what I'm going to be, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to have in 2022, first we got to prepare the soil, right? Now, the other piece, the reason why this time of year is critical and important is what autumn and what fall represent. See, what we're doing here is we're aligning with nature. Because this is the time of year that nature goes within, right? Autumn and winter represent the feminine principle, right? It represents the ideas of conception and incubation, right? Now we know with humans, right, in the feminine, right, that conception happens within the womb, right? And then the development happens of the fetus and all of those wonderful things. All of that is happening seemingly in the unseen, right? Unless without special equipment, right? We can't see what's going on. We can't check in on it. In the same way, if you planted a seed in the ground, right? That's happening in the unknown. That's happening in the darkness. And so what's happening in fall and winter, the correspondence here of nature is that the sun is, from our perspective here in the northern hemisphere, the sun is going down into the southern hemisphere. We're getting less light. And that is representative of the same incubation and conception process. So this is the time to begin to conceive, right? This is the time to plant. This is the time to incubate. And so all of this then supports me in doing something very important, listening. Because now that I've done this clearing, now I'm open and available to the presence of God in, through, and as me, to that voice of love that wants to share something with me, that voice of love that's leading and directing and guiding me. And so then that's why we use the life visioning process. It's critical to this process. And what is visioning? What is life visioning as developed by Reverend Michael Beckwith? He writes, or he says, rather, in this interview, it's a process by which we train ourselves to be able to hear, feel, see, and catch God's plan for our life or for any particular project we're working on. It's based on the idea that we're not here to tell God what to do or to ask God for things, but to absolutely be available for what God is already doing, to open ourselves up to catch what's already happening. So this is, again, why I say clearing is so important. You can't hear or catch or tap into what God is seeking to be and express through you with the clutter of the world taking up space in your mind. The beautiful thing about being deliberate about this process is that you don't really know what the clutter may be. Right? I love this process as I take myself through it each and every year. Right? So I'm amazed at the awarenesses that come up of ways of being or subconscious thoughts that I attach myself to. And see, for me, I know that I'm divine. I know that I'm perfect, whole, and complete, and I remain as God created me. But I also know that I'm human. So I'm not so recklessly confident that I think that because I'm Pastor Greg or because I meditate twice a day or because I'm faithful to my daily spiritual practice that I do not in any way absorb the patterns of thought in this world that are not beneficial to my bottom line or what I desire to demonstrate. So I prepare for the new year with the 30-day mental diet. Right? With using that, what that tool is doing for me, this is not the only tool. Right? This is not even an advertisement for that book, but it's a recognition that a clearing has to happen. And I am not so recklessly confident and thinking because I'm doing all of this stuff all throughout the year, which is beneficial and supportive. Absolutely. That's why we do it, right? That's part of the 7 habits that we talked about. Yes. In the last series. Yes. I developed those habits and I developed discipline and I developed consistency, and yet I'm still in the world, right? And so I'm still subject to ways of thinking that don't benefit me, right? And so this helps me bring those things up so they can be cleared, and now I can hear, I can listen. Let me take you back to what Thoreau wrote in Walden. If one advances confidently in the direction of their dreams and endeavors to live the life which they have imagined, they will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. It's impossible to advance confidently without doing these first 2 steps of clearing and listening, right? It's impossible. Because one, the thing that's going to happen, right? I'm not saying that it has to be this specific process. I'm not saying that you have to take my class. None of that. But you must pass through the twin gates of clearing and listening. Why? Because if you don't clear, then when you get a good idea or set a powerful goal or set an intention, all of those subconscious thoughts will still be running the show in the background. And things won't work out and you won't know why. And then you begin to say, what's wrong with me? And this is why so many of us continue to live in a consciousness of victimhood, thinking that there's something wrong with us, living in a consciousness of unworthiness, thinking there's something wrong with us, when all we needed to do was clear out the space and then listen, so that then when we listen for that good idea, those subconscious thoughts, those sabotaging beliefs aren't present. Because those old thoughts and beliefs will sabotage the process. And without listening and tapping into God's imagination, you may be leaving money on the table. You believe in, yes, I'm holding a belief for $1 million. And God, in through and as you, if you were using a process to listen, is saying this is the $3 million year. Your vision may simply be too small. But if you're not listening to what God is seeking to be in through and as you, you're going to just have the small vision. Your goal may be limited by what you've seen or heard was possible. But what do we know to be true? With God, all things are possible. What has been seen and what has yet to be seen. And so this is why we got to clear. This is why we got to clear and then listen. And then we have the opportunity. Now we can advance. And so I want us to look at the definition of some of these words, because there's so much beautiful, very specific language that Thoreau gives us in this passage. If one advances confidently in the direction of their dreams and endeavors to live the life which they have imagined, they will meet with success unexpected in common hours. My God. So advance. What does it mean to advance? It's an intransitive verb, to move forward, as in proceed and advancing army. Now, I will never forget this. It's one of the things that really illuminated this teaching for me. Mary Mann and Morrissey teaching and talking about this passage, and when she talks about advance confidently, she used a example that sticks with me. She used the example of when you have a lamp and you're going to plug it into the wall socket, right? When you have a lamp and you're going to the wall socket, right, you're plugging in the lamp because you need to turn it on and you need some light. When you're walking to that plug, are you like, oh, I hope electricity still works. Well, I hope this works for me. I saw somebody else use this plug and, they're smarter than me. I don't know if this is going to work for me. Well, that person, they have a lot of money. So that could be why the plug worked for them, but I don't have as much money as they do, so I don't know if when I plug this in, it's going to work. We don't do that, right? We advance confidently. There's a knowingness. There's an understanding of electricity, and we move forward. Similar example, right, that I use is walking to the sink, advancing confidently and turning the knob or lifting the knob or tapping it, however your particular faucet happens to work, right? You advance confidently knowing there's water. You need to fill up the pot so you can boil water for spaghetti, right? Right? You don't go through all this hemming and hawing and, let me think about it. Let me sit for a minute because, I know I need this thing, but there might not be enough for me. If I take this water, am I taking some water from somebody else? Right? We don't have any of those thoughts. We advance confidently. We turn that water on and we make use of it. Yes, yes. And this is what I call living forward. Right? There's a song I wrote, I'm living forward, living in possibility. Life is much sweeter since I've discovered the real me. I'm living forward, no longer following the crowd. I'm living forward. Nothing can stop me now. That's advancing confidently. Everything you do, say, and think now must be in service of your vision or your goal. So that means your daily 3-column prayer will be in service to your vision. That means that your daily spiritual practice, your 555, will be in service to your vision. The things you say yes to and the things you say no to will be in service to your vision. Why? Because you're advancing, not just advancing, but you're advancing confidently. You're moving forward. And then there's that word. Because he didn't say if one advances in the direction of their dreams. And this is why we got to look at all of these words and understand the profound teaching that's here. Many people are advancing in the direction of their dreams and are not meeting a success unexpected in common hours. But the text says if one advances confidently. And what does it mean to be confident? It means to be full of conviction, certain, as in confident of success, as in confident that conditions will improve. The second definition, having or showing assurance and self-reliance. I'm sure. And I love that full of conviction is there, because conviction and confident are very closely related. He could have written one advances with conviction. And the reason why I love that is because when you look at the definition of conviction, it says a strong persuasion or belief, the state of being convinced. What I have learned in my life, at least by my experiment, is that when one is convinced, one is in a state of being convinced and moves and advances in the direction of their dreams and endeavors to live the life which they haven't imagined. They will meet a success unexpected in common hours. But you see, advances confidently within that contains a whole bunch of information. And this is why go confidently in the direction of your dreams and live the life you've imagined is problematic. And that's nice. And we can, give someone a gift on their graduation or as a congratulations, right? That's nice. That's cute. That's wonderful. It ain't metaphysics. And it's not going to support you in demonstrating the life it is that you truly desire to have. So advancing confidently is to be convinced, certain, full of conviction, having or showing assurance, a strong persuasion or belief. I believe that this thing will happen. I know that this will happen. I'm living in the reality that this will happen. But there's another word. If one advances confidently, we talked about advancing, we talked about confidence and conviction in the direction of their dreams, and endeavors to live the life which they have imagined. Love that word. It's an important word, because he could have just written, if one advances confidently in the direction of their dreams, they will meet a success unexpected in common hours. But endeavors to live the life which they have imagined. It's another transitive verb. An endeavor means to attempt something, such as the fulfillment of an obligation. The second definition, which Webster says is a little more archaic, is to strive to achieve or reach, as in to work with set purpose. Endeavor. With that confident advancing, with that, in some ways, I almost feel like these could be flipped, right? Because there needs to be something within us, and those of you, you're here right now, and I know that you all are of the mindset of endeavoring to live the life which you have imagined, right? But a lot of people really aren't endeavoring to live the life that they've imagined, right? To actually say, you know what, I think I can be this. I believe I can have this. I believe I can experience this. No, I have not seen this in my family. No, I have never seen a healed, happy, whole relationship in my family, but I believe it's possible for me. No, I've never seen an experience where we're not worried about the bills and bill collectors calling and not having enough and Christmas missed us, as BIG says, right? Now, I don't know about that experience, but I believe I'm endeavoring. Right? I'm endeavoring to live the life which I've imagined. I am going to make an attempt, right? But it's not an attempt out of a wishing, right? It's not an attempt out of a hoping, because I'm advancing confidently in the direction. And we already talked about what that is, but actually endeavoring. Most people are not doing that. When I think about many of my heroes, most of my heroes, one of the things when I think about sort of the list of people, heroes and sheroes, are those that endeavored, right? And that endeavoring was not just about, they had a large goal and they achieved it. Many of the people that I love and respect the most were those that were willing to actually give up so much of who and what they were. Thinking about Malcolm X right now, right? Who went from Malcolm Little, right, to Malcolm X of the Nation of Islam, to then Malcolm X, right, El Hajj Malik Shabazz, right, where he evolved even more. He had to let go of the nation and let go of Elijah Muhammad to embrace this larger sense of who and what he was, right? And in each stage, there was a death and a resurrection. But see, that's an endeavoring. That's an endeavoring, and most people aren't moving in that posture. And what that requires, and this is why, a lot of people talk about it, and you see it in social media. I think it's written in a less affirmative way, but why it is true that you will have to leave some things or some people behind, right? It's not about cutting people off, though. See, that's the energy that you usually we usually read in social media memes, right? Right. But there is something that has to be let go of, right? I chose not to talk about it today, but it's the thing that's in here, and we talked about surrender as one of the 7 habits, but there is a surrender component to this. There's a letting go, that when you endeavor and attempt, right, endeavor to live the life which you have imagined, that means that whomever you are right now that's not in that reality must change into the thing that becomes that reality. And so there's a shedding, there's a letting go. There's no way, you can't get around that. And going back to the correspondence of nature, that's what happens to the apple seed. The apple seed contains everything that it needs within itself to become a full-grown tree, which seems impossible. I invite you to just check out an apple seed today or one day this week. It literally seems impossible that thing would become a full-grown tree. But not only does it become a full-grown tree, but something that then manifests apple blossoms. And not only does it manifest apple blossoms, but those blossoms fall, shed, and then it manifests something that we know as apples. Something that's delicious, and then that apple can change and manifest into applesauce and manifest into apple pie, right? All of these beautiful things. There is a shedding that has to happen, because that seed, the way the process works, yes, you plant it, but then what does the seed have to do? It literally has to break off its shell and change form. Right? We love to talk about the butterflies, and we love the metaphors of the butterfly, and it's the same thing. The seed has to do that in order to become something that then, with proper care and maintenance, can manifest over and over again, yield fruit in and out of season, like the trees planted by the rivers of water. Yes, yes, hello, somebody. And so when I think about that endeavoring, one of the things that came to mind for me in preparation is a lyric from one of the songs in the Mary Poppins musical, "Anything Can Happen If You Let It." And this is what endeavoring does. There's a line. The song comes in the musical earlier on in the musical, but then it's the closing number, and it's that number that leaves you just feeling uplifted when you walk out, and you feel like anything's possible. And the lyric says, "If you reach for the stars, all you get is the stars. But we found a whole new spin. If you reach for the heavens, you get the stars thrown in." And so this is that endeavoring teaching. That's the other beautiful thing about this, is that when you advance confidently in the direction of your dreams and endeavor and attempt and strive to achieve, to work with set purpose, you're not just reaching for the stars, you're reaching for the heavens. And the beautiful thing is, when you start to move in that direction and advancing confidently and endeavoring, you get the stars thrown in. But again, so many people, and most people, are not even endeavoring. So one last time, let's look at what Thoreau writes here. 1854. If one advances confidently in the direction of their dreams and endeavors to live the life which she, he, or they have imagined, they will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. if one advances. If one advances confidently. If one advances confidently and endeavors. That's a big if, y'all. Most people don't advance confidently, but you're not most people. Most people don't endeavor to live the life which they have imagined, but you're not most people. And one of the things that I find interesting, and one of the reasons that I really wanted to teach this passage is, as I said earlier, that last sentence about castles in the air is powerful, and we're going to break that down. But before this passage, before this paragraph, Thoreau is writing about something very specific that's related to this. And he writes this. He said, I left the woods for as good a reason as I went there. For those that don't know, Walden is all about his time of solitude. He just stepped away from regular life and built a cabin out in the woods. And he documented and wrote about his experiences and all of the beautiful, profound things he learned, right? It's just beautiful, right? And what came forth. But he talks about the fact that eventually that ended. I left the woods for as good a reason as I went there. Perhaps it seemed to me that I had several more lives to live and could not spare any more time for that one. And so he talks about that, recognizing that it was time for him to go because I had many more lives to live. I had many more endeavors to get about endeavoring. I had more confident advancing to do in other ways, in other places, in other times of my life. And so I could not just simply, while this was good, wonderful, and beneficial, and has yielded a text that we're still talking about in 2021 that was written in 1854, I couldn't just stay in that cabin in the woods because I had several more lives to live. And so then he goes on from there and says, and this is what I learned by my experiment, by my living life, by my interacting with life, by my taking what I've learned and choosing to actually live out from it, that if one advances confidently in the direction of his or her dreams and endeavors to live the life that she, he, or they imagine, they will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. Great success is ahead of you. Miracles and answered prayers are in store for you, but it starts with choice. Clear your mind. Prepare the soil of your mind, and then listen. Listen to the voice of God within. Listen to that imagination within you that sees bigger, that imagines greater than what you may be thinking. And then once you have that vision, once you have that goal, endeavor and advance confidently. With that, I say amen, ashe, and so it is. So it is.
Ooh, yes, yes, yes. I see a lot of yes-yesing, a lot of agreement, a lot of talk about it. Mm-hmm. This is such a powerful message based on a powerful passage from an amazing metaphysician and New Thought thinker. I love this passage. I love this sermon for so many reasons. The practical steps that we need to take that PG outlined. But also, did you notice the way he broke all that down? That's powerful. That's the way we should be interpreting our text, no matter what the text is. Yeah, I love the passage. Ooh, that felt good. But do you understand it? Have you lived with it? Have you digested it? Have you taken it apart and understand why those words are so powerful for you? What have you learned? What can you glean? And how can you live based on what you think you like? Mm-hmm. So powerful today.
Yeah.
To listen, to understand, to be able to interpret. Now, you don't have to interpret it the way PG did. But you need to take those texts that live and let them live in you this way, so that you understand what it means and how to move forward, how to integrate it into your experience.
Yes.
Right? We can clear out this path, clear out the past, and endeavor confidently in this way. That's what we're here to do.
Yeah.
It ain't to hem and haw. It's not to be in worry, doubt, and fear. It is to advance confidently,
Yes.
knowing what we know and living what we know in this way. Thank you, Peachy.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh, I'm excited about this. Again, this is just a mini series. We're going to just two more weeks, but there's some beautiful things in this passage that I look forward to illuminating and to sharing with each and every one of you. I'm seeing your comments coming in, and I'm grateful to know that it's resonating. This moment, it is time for giving. You've seen the information. We've been sharing it through the broadcast. It's very easy to give to CSC. You just go to our website, celebrationsc.org/give, or you can go to the website and scroll down to the giving section, or you can text to give, 347-744-9500, and text your dollar amount to that number. What's most important is what you see on the screen. Give what feels good. Give what feels good. Why do we say that? Because we recognize that giving is not about the number. It is about the vibration behind the giving, right? It absolutely is, right? If it was the way it works, right? No matter what amount we're giving, joy has to be behind it. Right? For many of us, unfortunately, and this isn't all giving, right? We get to practice it with monetary giving, but all giving. If I'm giving to PY out of guilt, or, oh, I forgot to say good morning, so let me buy her flowers today, right? Well, then I'm giving out of guilt, right? Right? That's I didn't have to do that, but I'm just saying, right?
And they
y'all
won't
know
be
she
free.
gets flowers regularly, but
I do.
hey, y'all coming for me? Like, you ain't speak to PY anyway. So, but you understand, right? You understand that you can't give from a place of guilt. You can't give from a place of shame. You can't give even from a place of, oh, I wish this was more. No, what it is what it is, and I give it in joy because I know the source behind it.
I give it confidently.
Yeah. Oh, ooh. Look at that. I give it confidently. And so that's why we keep talking about it each and every week. Give what feels good. Give what feels good. That's what we mean when we say that, right? We can't give out of shame. We can't give out of guilt. We can't give out of obligation. We can't give even, by rote. Like this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to pay my taxes. I'm supposed to give to the church. Like, no. That energy, blessings aren't attached to that energy, right? And now the law of circulation is always in operation. And so whatever frequency, vibration we're giving, we're going to get that return. That's why we need to be very clear and confident about how we're giving, the vibration behind it. So we encourage you to give, if not today, when you're able, throughout the week. We appreciate your giving. It, of course, allows us to do what we're doing now and bring this broadcast and continue to do all the other things that CSC does, as CSC also ties to other organizations. And we are being a light in this world in so many other ways. But we are grateful for your giving, and we are grateful for your continued support of this ministry. We are prosperous. So from that knowing and from that awareness, let us affirm this together. All the money that I use, returns to me multiplied. In a never-ending cycle. Of increase. And enjoyment. And with that, we are complete for this Sunday. Again, we are so grateful to hang out with you. We love the energy. It always feels good, even virtually, here on Sundays. We look forward to many of you joining us at the God Talk at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So that's in about a half hour. Take a break, get something to eat, whatever it is. We look forward to seeing you there on Zoom. For those who didn't hear about it earlier, if you would like to join us for the God Talk and you're not on our mailing list, you would need to join our mailing list. I can bring that up, that information. Just text welcome to 347-472-1078. Once you complete that information and you receive a confirmation text saying you're all set, check your email and there will be a link to join the Zoom Zoom call, the link and password, and we will be there. Looking forward to seeing your faces, and looking forward to what Source reveals to us through the questions and answers.
Yes, and you must be in the room to ask and receive an answer.
Yeah, absolutely.
So please join us. It is the same link and email password, that you get in your email. So if you've gotten on a Friday email from us, it's the same one.
It's the same one. Yep.
All right.
Absolutely. All right. Love y'all. If we don't see you at the God Talk, we'll see you in
Wednesday?
prayer on Wednesday. And if we don't connect with you there, then we'll connect back with you here on next Sunday.
Love you all. Have an
yes.
amazing Sunday,
Yes,
and
yes.
we'll see you soon.
Yes, yes. Bye for now.
Bye for now.